It's very beautiful to be able to be here in San Millán. There's a concept in our tradition which is the idea of getting to sacred places to experience samples. Samples are other states that are not usual samples of being. Very often, I talk to people or they come to my practice, to my clinic, and they say, "Oh, I try to meditate, but my mind is so busy. All my thoughts are, and it's normal. You're in day to day, and it just gets like that, no? Versus like this. So the idea of coming to a place like this, not just as a cultural visit or as just like, as a vacation, but to be present with a place is like you can get a sample of a state that is very pure in a very quick way. So you're sitting there, for example, I'm sitting there, and without doing anything, just almost instantaneously, the mind enters into a space that is very crystal clear. Like it's crystal clear. The mind is very clear. The perception is very soft. There's no FOMO whatsoever. Like you're here. So this is what a saint gives you. I was here years ago, and I was the great fortune of meeting one of the monks who, unfortunately, one of the frailes, that's how we say in English, one of the monks who passed away, Padre Olarte. And for some unexplained reason, I feel a tremendous degree of devotion towards San Millán. I'm not from La Rioja. I don't have family from La Rioja. But since the first time that I heard the name San Millán, and then I drove and I came here, I just felt this profound love. This, like it's kind of like a certainty of this is something where you feel just very good about it. Okay, something that you trust, profound trust. Okay, so when I was walking through here, through El Camino, I took a couple of days to rest here, and I became friends with another of the monks here, and I told him I had read Father Olarte's biography of San Millán. It's a very nice book in Spanish, and I had read that book as a preparation for El Camino. And so in the afternoon, there was only like maybe 8 or 10 monks at the time. I don't know how many there. That was 12 years ago. So this other priest, Padre Mario, told me, "Would you like to meet Father Olarte?" I said, "Sure." So we walked through the monastery, like the inner, like courtyards and hallways, and it's all dark, and like there's barely few people there. So he takes me into this office and Padre Olarte is like this older guy. He's like glasses and behind this big desk, papers everywhere. Everything is a complete mess. It's like an ashtray, like replete with cigarette butts and and say, "Oh, come in." And the first thing he asked me, says, "Do you mind if I smoke?" I said, "No, please. This is your office. You do whatever you want." And he offered me. I said, "No, I'll skip today. Today I'm not smoking." And he asked me a few personal questions, and then he says, "So, why are you here?" And I said, "Well, can you tell me about San Millán?" And his demeanor totally changed. He puffs, and he's like, "San Millán? San Millán?" Says, "I quarrel with San Millán every day. Those damn pipes, they are broken. I'm telling San Millán, please send us a good plumber. God damn it." So he's going on and on. And the other guy's like, "Padre Olarte, tranquilo. It was super funny, because then I realized, oh, a saint is not a saint. A saint is a saint, So then he stops and he starts laughing. I said, "Sorry, I get a bit carried away." I said, "It's okay." It was fantastic. I was like, "Wow, this is the best thing ever, So finally he stops and he's quiet for a moment, and just the energy becomes very soft in the room. So you have the wrathful, the young guy who is like, he has to take care of like a, 700-800-year-old monastery that is falling into pieces, and he's telling San Millán, "What the F? Help us here," And then you see like the guy who's been doing practice for decades, and he gets very quiet. And he kind of starts like, you can see his eyes are getting all moist, okay? And he asks me, he says, "Do you know what is a saint? What a saint is? Do you know who is a saint?" In Spanish, ¿sabes quién es un santo? ¿Sabes qué es un santo? And I have no idea, So there's a silence, It's like almost like he's trying to convey something from his level to my level. And finally he says, a saint is somebody who has kneaded, like you get dough, like water and flour. So a saint is somebody who has kneaded himself with God to the point you cannot tell them apart.
Could you repeat that last thing?
So a saint, Padre Olarte said, I didn't, I was just listening. He said a saint is somebody who has kneaded himself with God, with the divine, to the point that you cannot tell them apart. And then there was another silence, and he said, and that's done through love.
And that's not.
That's accomplished. That happens through love. And he was not crying. I was crying. The other guy was crying. We're all crying. So, wow, because this is the feeling here. So when somebody asks you, what are you doing here? So this is what we're doing here. And you have to approach these things in a specific way. With the reverence is not being tight. It's just like a state of presence that is just welcoming. So that was very beautiful. And then he explained me some stories about San Millán. We spent there a long time. Nobody had anything else to do.
Right.
Waiting for San Millán to fix the pipes. So, he explained to me a bunch of stories about San Millán and, a bunch of miracles. And so it came down to this idea that San Millán was an extremely human saint. That the lady explained a story. I know the version a bit different, like the version of the wooden beam. So it seems that when part of this was being built, that's the story that he told me, was being built, the carpenters measured the beam short, And so there was a big, everybody was curling, and finally San Millán said, just everybody go have lunch, just we'll fix it, So when they came back from lunch, it had the perfect measure. So that was a story I knew. So a saint is, or I don't know if you say a saintress, is such a thing as saintress, females? I don't know. So it doesn't matter the gender. It's just somebody who is there present to be of service to others, and to have fun. And that's what, I gave the example, I mentioned the other day, Nim Karoli Baba, who was this great saint from India. So whose theme was love all, serve all, feed all, So this was the idea, and this was a beautiful time with that Padre Olarte, and this idea of, just to knit yourself with the divine through presence and through love and through just plain joy, And of course, shit happens, and sometimes it's very difficult, and sometimes you just, but we aspire to that, So anyway, that was very beautiful, and we love to come to this place for something like that.
Thank you.
You're welcome. ¿Qué te parece, compañero?
Bien. Muy bonito.
So the concept of darshan, I'll talk a couple more minutes. So there's the idea of this. Do you know this word darshan? So that's it's an Indian word, a Sanskrit word. So when you go to a sacred place, you can participate in the sacred place like Juan does, which is actively activating structures, So the space changed very much, for example, today when he was putting on there, And so then there's another way, which is a more yin way, like a more like receptive way. So the term is darshan, D-A-R-S-H-N, darshan, which means just to receive the grace. So to receive the grace, you just go, and you just be there, and with this kind of approach that is very present. So everything we're doing, you can receive darshan from the divine anywhere, in a forest, anywhere. But so just keep this idea in mind, like going in a receptive way to be a vessel for that to be received. And if you notice that your mind gets clear, this energy of this place is also very useful because it's very clear, makes the mind very clear. For those of you who might be interested in, seriously means like that you're going to dedicate time every day to the practice of dream yoga, the energy, to have the reference from this energy is very useful. So within the day, you might remember this clarity and then stop, and there's two ways to do it. So you think, or you look around and say, oh, this is a dream. Or you ask yourself, like Iñaki taught the other day, is this a dream? Okay. But there's this energy of clarity. And then as you're falling asleep again, you remember this energy, this clarity, and then you fall asleep within that clarity too, with a command. I will sleep well, I will wake up rejuvenated. During the night I will dream, I will recognize my dreams, I will transform the dreams, I will dissolve the dreams. So kneading yourself with the divine through presence, through service, using this clarity for the practice of your meditation or dream yoga, and then being in a receptive state for darshan, to receive the grace. That's something you can think from here.